Speaking of Biden, oh my God, did he ever have some moments this weekend? So I think this
Mhm.
was on Friday where he declared a couple of different times that the 28th Amendment of Equal Rights was now the law of the land. And he got fact checked all over the place because it just simply isn't true. There is no 28th Amendment. And so here he is making the announcement that is not actually fact. This is crazy, you guys.
Today, I affirm the Equal Rights Amendment to have cleared all the necessary hurdles to be added to the U.S. Constitution now.
He's screaming.
The Equal Rights Amendment is the law of the land now.
Nope, it actually isn't, because that's not how laws work. That's not how constitutional amendments work. And so the fact that he got fact checked over and over again was just hilarious.
Yeah, the guy's out of his mind, and he has obvious dementia. And I know we have a clip from Speaker Johnson talking about that in the show. But it makes me wonder if anything that he signs is even worth, like, if does it stand?
I know,
Can it
right?
even hold water? I mean, this is the thing. If he's had it for years, is anything that he signed actually legal?
That's a
This
great
is
question.
Yeah, I mean, because it's definitely not moral for him to sign anything, and it's not moral for anybody to let him sign anything because the guy he has full-blown dementia. So,
Well, and what does he mean in this next clip where he says he's not going anywhere?
It's the 28th Amendment to the Constitution now.
Just stop.
stop screaming at us.
I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, well, I mean, eventually you will. Eventually you're gonna.
I'm not kidding.
Oh, we didn't think you were kidding.
But like, you are going somewhere. You're
Right.
leaving the office. Thank
Mhm.
God.
You're gonna have to move out of the White House today.
Good
It's
Lord.
gonna happen today. Yeah, and this is the thing. I go back to the whole he is out of his gourd. Like, the guy is loony.
Mhm.
And there's more and more, and everybody knows it. So he's signing all these pardons, and I'm like, can somebody, like, on our side maybe go, hold on a second? It's like, if you take the keys away from grandpa, and because he's not allowed to drive the car, at some point, why are we allowing this guy to sign anything?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Like, all of these pardons today should be null and void because he is
Right.
not mentally with it enough to know what he's signing.
He has no idea.
He also the super weird answers because, of course, the great news from yesterday was seeing 3 of the female hostages released from Hamas back into the loving arms of their families. We've got some video of that, which was just so nice. But Biden was asked by reporters if he was worried about Hamas regrouping, which, of course, any rational thinking, not demented person should be worried about, because
Right.
why wouldn't they try to regroup? Unless they're
Mhm.
eliminated, they will do this again and again and again. And
Yeah.
here is that crazy answer that he gave.
Sir, any concerns about Hamas regrouping?
No.
Will you remain involved in the deal as it moves forward?
No way out. Proud of the deal.
Oh my God. He has no idea what's going on.
Oh my God.
Dude.
And so
Yeah.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say terrorists are gonna terrorist.
Yeah.
And so
Absolutely.
he has no concept of what has been going on over the past couple years. He just doesn't know. He doesn't know. He has other people feed him things, feed him bills, feed him pardons, feed him policies. He has no idea where he is or what he's doing on a daily basis.
Also, if we're still in the midst of, like, all the cold and flu and COVID season, and if you want to take control of your health and not rely on big pharma who doesn't care one lick about you, and you want to make sure that you're getting your medications that are American made and not being sent over from China, could we please introduce you to allfamilypharma.com? This is where you can get ivermectin, you can get hydroxychloroquine, you can get prescription medications, including antibiotics and other antivirals, all kinds of drugs. There's like 200 medications that they have available. by just filling out appropriate questionnaires on their website and not having to deal with like the urgent cares or the emergency rooms or just waiting for your doctor to see you for some of the basics that you know these drugs are effective for and can easily get them through All Family Pharma. When you visit allfamilypharma.com/chicks and you use code CHICKS10, you will get 10% off your entire order. Lots and lots of people taking advantage of this. We're really, really glad to see it because it just makes getting your prescriptions so much easier, less of a pain. It's allfamilypharma.com/chicks, code CHICKS10. Here is a firsthand account of that exact thing with Speaker Mike Johnson, who was on with Barry Weiss for the Free Press podcast.
Thank you, sir.
It's public now because the Wall Street Journal got it and put it on the front page. But January a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, I had been asked. I became Speaker in October 2023, and there were all sorts of big national security concerns and everything going on. And I started requesting a meeting with the president because, you know, I'm kind of old school. I'm a constitutional law guy. Speaker of the House should be able to talk to the president, especially in times of great national interest and calamity. But they wouldn't let me meet with him, and his staff kept giving me excuses. This went on for like 8 or 9 weeks. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, he doesn't have time. What are you talking about? I'm second in line of the presidency. He has time. I need to talk to him. We had, I can't say the classified parts, but we had some big national concerns at the time that I was losing sleep over. Finally, I just went to the Hill Press Corps and I said, the president is not being allowed to meet with the speaker. There's a problem. So they started putting pressure on him. Long story short, they finally relented. They invited me to the White House. I show up and I realize it's actually an ambush because it's not just me and the president. It's also Kamala Harris, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem, you know, the CIA director, everybody. And then, so I walked in the Oval and, I know what this is. They're going to hotbox the speaker on Ukraine funding. That's what it was. This is probably the third week of January. We sit down, we're in the midst of it, and the whole conversation, and I'm going, we don't need to have this conversation. The president reaches over just like this. We're sitting right next to the fireplace in the Oval, and he grabs my arm and he says, the speaker and I just need a couple minutes together. Would y'all just leave us alone? And I looked up on the faces of some of the staff standing around the wall, and they're like, oh, no, he did it. So he called it. He's the commander-in-chief. So everybody leaves, and he and I are standing awkwardly in the middle of the Oval Office, right over the rug by that coffee table. And I said, Mr. President, thanks for the moments. This is very important. I got some big national security things I need to talk to you about that I've heard and I think you know, and what do we do? But first, real quickly, Mr. President, can I ask you a question? I cannot answer this from my constituents in Louisiana. Sir, why did you pause LNG exports to Europe? Like, I don't understand, liquefied natural gas is in great demand by our allies. Why would you do that? Because you understand, we just talked about Ukraine. You understand you're fueling Vladimir Putin's war machine because they got to get their gas from him, And he looks at me, stunned with this, and he said, I didn't do that. And I said, Mr. President,
my God.
Yes, you did. It was an executive order, 3 weeks ago. And he goes, no, I didn't do that. And he's arguing with me. I said, Mr. President, respectfully, could I go out here and ask your secretary to print it out? We'll read it together. You definitely did that. And he goes, oh, you talk about natural gas. Yes, sir. He said, no, you misunderstand. He said, what I did is I signed this thing we're gonna conduct a study on the effects of LNG. I said, no, you're not, sir. You paused it. I know. I have the export terminals in my state. I talked to those people this morning. This is doing massive damage to our economy, national security. It occurred to me, Barry, he was not lying to me. He genuinely did not know what he had signed.
Terrifying.
Why is he a part of the cover-up, though? This is what I don't get.
Right. Why
was he like, well, now it's public because the Washington Post put it out? Why didn't you freaking put it out?
I totally agree. I was raging when I saw that yesterday. I was raging because I'm like, why are we just now hearing about this?
Yeah. This could have been really helpful information, Mike.
Right. Now,
why did you feel like you had to protect him?
Exactly. Now, granted, if say they took him out and Kamala became president, right? I still think that Kamala would be signing all these pardons and doing all these things because both of them are puppets. Still, I mean, it shows weakness in Johnson. Shows weakness.
Maybe, is that the strategery behind it? Like maybe he was like, we cannot let Kamala be the president, and so I can't say anything.
Either one of them is going to be a puppet. They're both puppets. Neither one of them was running the country. I think it was just a cabal of other people, like the Obamas and Valerie Jarrett and all these other people have been running the country for years. The Clintons, I don't know, like a bunch of other people have been pulling the strings. And they did it this morning too. Whoever it is that decided that Fauci and Milley and all these other jackholes are going to get pardons. Biden didn't decide that. I mean, we can say Biden's evil all we want. Biden has no idea what's going on. He has
Right.
no idea. He is a man with dementia. He's an old man who has lost his shit. He has no clue what's happening. It's all these other people that are behind the scenes pulling the strings. He is a puppet. And so is Kamala, frankly. And she, like, I guess they decided she doesn't serve a purpose anymore. We're just going to get rid of her or whatever. She didn't lose. She didn't win. So we're done with her. But I mean, yeah, George Soros, Denise, George Soros, and all these other players in this chess game, they're controlling this, they're controlling the game. And now that Trump is there, it's like all these things are going to start coming into play. But to hear that from him,
Right.
I wish he would have at least said something.
Yeah, that's the thing. Or said in that interview why he didn't say something. And it better be a better excuse than, well, the WAPO hadn't reported it yet.
Right.
Who gives a shit? Like, if you're seeing this happen in real time
Yep.
with your own eyes and ears, doesn't he have a responsibility to the
You-
nation
You'd think.
to say it?
You'd think. We want strong people on our side who are willing to call out this stuff when it's happening. It's alarming. It's alarming and it's terrifying that this was happening. It's like, he's not running the country. Well, if he's not, who is, Mike?
Right?
Yeah.
Yikes.